We are live now, so welcome everybody and everyone to Think Young Hidden Inventors campaign. We officially kick off today with a fantastic guest, a month of talks, a month of conversation, activities to promote and talk about inventors. And we do all this as Think Young in partnership with Ericsson, and we're very happy and proud to announce today the partnership between Think Young and Ericsson. And research and innovation are key for the future of Europe, are key for the future of the world. And we are very happy that we kick off this campaign with Carles Puente Baliarda, who is founder of two companies. The first one is Fractus, the second one is Fractus Antennas. And but mainly, you are an inventor. You came up with the idea of a fractal antenna. We changed the word, which made sure that Wi-Fi and internet could be anywhere. And that's really what make our life easier, what make us talking to each other today, and make sure that the world is definitely going in a better direction. So we would love to hear from you. And I would definitely say the floor is yours, Carles. Can you please introduce yourself, tell a bit about your story and how the whole thing started?
So thank you very much, Andrea, for inviting me to this talk. And talking about invention, I was actually a student at the UPC, at the Polytechnic University of Catalonia, when I first had the idea of using fractals to make antennas. And I remember that by that time, my antenna professor, was explaining the constraints in antenna performance when trying to make the antenna small or trying to make the antenna multiband. Okay, and that was because of a very simple reason, which is there is a very strong relationship between the antenna size and the wavelength. And since you cannot have many sizes, usually you cannot use many wavelengths in the antenna. And this is how I thought about using a multi-size, multi-scale geometry, and a special geometry called fractals, to develop these antennas. Okay, and actually that was an idea I had in 1990, but it wasn't actually until 3 years after that I moved into the US to follow a master program at the University of Illinois, that I had the opportunity of starting making research in these ideas. Okay. And it worked. Okay, I started doing that, and we got the first results, and that was very exciting because we had a completely new scientific concept. Okay, which, however, at that time we had no clue about the impact that this would have. Okay, it wasn't until later, when we created the first company, Fractus, that we really realized that we had a great opportunity because of the eclosion of mobile telephony worldwide. Okay, so in 1999 we founded the company. Okay, and to put this technology into the market, and this is how the technology got in over 90% of mobile phones worldwide. Okay, that was beginning of year 2000s, and since then the company had been always making research, keeping on innovation. This is how we spin off a second company, Fractus Antennas, because we created a second wave of technology revolution, which is today called virtual antenna. It's already a new generation of antennas that will eventually play the same role that fractal antennas had for smartphones. Now that will be for the Internet of Things.
Great. And I mean, if I hear your stories, you mentioned, the university time several times as, very much when you get the inspiration and when you get, the idea, and you're there talking to your colleagues, to your students, and university and the professor, and the importance of the Polytechnic University of Catalonia. And what inspired you to patent? I mean, as a student, that's probably not the first thing you're thinking of. What inspired you to patent the idea and then create the company? Where does this come from?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, probably was after my experience in the United States that and when I became transition from being a professional student to a professional, that I was starting to think on practical applications and on the business implications of this. And it was in 1995 that when I was being a lecturer, hired as a lecturer at the UPC, back from the United States, that I filed the very first patent in the world of in the field of fractal antennas. That was May 1995. Still, at that time, that patent was quite scientific. There were many challenges, technical challenges to be overcome for that technology to become really practical and useful for the industry. And actually, it wasn't until the third generation technology coming from those original fractal antennas that we came out with a technology that really hit the market. Okay, that was a technology that become pervasive in every mobile phone and in most base station antennas for mobile communications. Okay. Then in 1998, we got the European Information Technology Grand Prize after 6 years of making research at the university related to fractal antennas. And this is how we created the company. We had a great scientific concept, and all of a sudden a market opportunity because of mobile telephony, and we made the match of the two, and we decided to create Fractus.
Nice. And you mentioned, you're going to the US, coming back to Europe and Barcelona, and if we look at Europe a bit, the EU is pressing for innovation now more and more, and this is something that I think it's dramatically changed, especially in the last 10, 20 years. It's really like we did understand, this is really where we have to put the boat in that direction. And you as an inventor are clearly the beginning of a pipeline of every innovation. The inventor is the very first beginning. It's the very first guy. That's what all our campaign is about, make sure that inventors are as recognized, especially the hidden inventors are recognized as possible. And being an inventor clearly changed since the Industrial Revolution, which is probably the first thing we think of when we think of an inventor. We might go back to, hundreds of years ago, but that changed. It changed in 2020, And what do you believe it means to be an inventor in 2020? The figure of inventor, how did it change, and what is to be today an inventor?
That's a good question, and in my perspective, I believe that being an inventor in the 21st century is much more fun and rewarding than being an inventor in the midst of the Industrial Revolution. Maybe not as romantic, but more fun and more rewarding. Okay, and that's because of several reasons. First of all, because there are many technologies out there that have been developed that help inventing new things. Okay, the more we know, the more we understand what it needs to be learned. Okay, and this is how innovation is accelerated all the time. So having more technologies and more inventions available, it makes easier to create more inventions. Okay, and people would think the contrary, but I do not agree to that perspective. Okay. Also, there are many innovative industries that are eager to get innovations, and they are willing to adopt that. And overall, there is more wealth in the world that can be reinvested in supporting inventorship, okay, and innovation. So I think being an inventor in the 21st century is great.
Nice. And I mean, that already kind of lead to what I wanted to ask you after, because you say, it's great to be an inventor today. There's, capital available and connection, and, you can easily move, travel, get to know people from all over. So probably ideas follow a bit more. And we do know the importance, again, the link between innovators and invention, and how innovation is important for keep our social status and our social system, and keep Europe as a powerhouse. And if you, as you started kind of saying now how cool it is and explain it a bit, if you were to think of, imagine you're in front of a class as you were probably 25 years ago when you were beginning of your leg, and you wanted to inspire more, young people and the next generation of inventors, and make sure that your legacy goes on in this. How would you do it? What would you do to inspire more inventors in Europe? I would say in the world at large.
Campaigns like the one that you are doing, promoting, showing those people that are behind those technology revolutions that today we give for granted, but there is people behind that. It's important. But more than showing particular examples, which I think is good, I think that probably at the institutional level there are things that could be done. Okay, first of all, it's a cultural thing. Okay, and in Europe, we need to further promote the culture around creativity, around invention, around science, engineering, business. Okay, and this is key. Okay, because it's not other countries like the United States, for instance, has a more developed culture in this regards. Okay, and in probably Europe we are a little bit behind on that. Okay, we need to a second thing is we need to heavily promote the entrepreneurship attitude, because entrepreneurship and inventorship is very much linked. It's entrepreneurs and inventors are people with visions, and they want to take those visions into reality. Okay, and this should go together. This cultural change, this promotion of inventorship and entrepreneurship should go together with some regulatory framework that helps these things to develop. For instance, having a strong IPR system that is effective and helps individual inventors and startup companies to really become strong. And in Europe, we don't have still a powerful IPR system as other countries of the world have.
Nice. You mentioned IPR, which links to also a part, I would say, that in this campaign we try to talk about. Intellectual property rights are key, and it needs to be understood and first of all and spread and protected, and it's definitely they were an important part, and they are an important part in Fractus as a company as well. When you develop more technology, when you're in your thinking with your team what to do next, etc. How do you see? Can you tell us more? How do you see IPR for a company like yours? And as a Spanish, as a European, how do you see IPR today in 2020? Where are we with that?
Well, IPR is something that it's intellectual property rights, something that sometimes is not well understood, and patents become quite mysterious or strange things for general people. And it's important to remind that IPR is probably the most relevant tool that society has created to promote innovation and invention and discovery. Okay, and that's the purpose of the patent system. That's why the patent system was invented. And why is that? For many reasons. But first, because it provides confidence to inventors and to investors that if you dedicate time, money, energy, your nights, your dreams in doing something that nobody had done before, because that's what inventing is about. Okay, you will have some kind of protection. You will have some kind of reward. Okay. Second of all, because patenting means that helps packaging innovation into an asset that is tangible and that can be traded with. So companies having IPs, having patents, can start making business in a quite civilized way. Okay, instead of fighting, copying, stealing. Okay, they can negotiate on the grounds of some common understanding of what belongs to who. Okay. And third of all, because it generates speed in innovation. Patents become public, so people get to know what your competitors are, what you and your competitors are doing, and that creates speed in the whole innovation process. So IPs and patents are key for really promoting innovation in Europe or elsewhere.
Nice, and I see we are going a little bit ahead of time. So there is one part that I forgot to mention at the beginning, is that we are definitely taking some Q&A from the people who are watching us live. We're live on several platforms of Think Young. So I don't know if we already have some question, and I'm now talking to, let's say, the people behind the scene who are collecting these questions, and eventually, if I can pop up some question in this respect for Carles. And while we wait for that to happen, can you tell us just for a hint of what you are working on at this very moment? I mean, is there something, if you can obviously somehow share it, and then we have a question actually now.
Yeah.
Voilà, that's actually the same thing that I kind of ask you. Are you now? That's okay. I can't read the name because that's an alphabet. I don't.
Korean name.
Yeah, yeah. That's his account name on YouTube. And are you now working on new technologies for the future? And so
the answer is yes. We created fractal technology that became dominant technology for the first 20 years of this century in mobile telephony. Now we are working, and we have created, and we are launching virtual antenna, which is the technology that we believe will be dominant in the IoT market, in the Internet of Things market, for the next 20 years. Okay, so it's a completely new revolution and a completely new way of doing antennas, and we believe that hopefully that will be as successful as fractals were in the past.
Nice. And then you're now based, if you tell us a bit about yourself, and I mean, it's your company, you're based in Barcelona. How's the ecosystem there? I mean, how do you feel there? And do you feel, I mean, it's clearly your second company, so I believe you say, yes, it is the right place, but can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, Barcelona is a vibrant city. There is a lot of hype in cultural. There is a lot of influence from many areas of the world. So from Europe, from all the Mediterranean area, from elsewhere in the world, and we have this cultural mix and this entrepreneurship spirit that makes a perfect place to start a company and to innovate. So we have good weather. We are a little bit like the California of Southern Europe, if you want. So,
that's a great way of promoting it, I would say.
A little bit like Italy, but
yeah, so, no, that's definitely a great way to promote it. And yourself, how do you balance the thing between, if I think about it again, inventor, I kind of find it more as a, lonely, if I can say, but kind of, you're with yourself and your idea and your development. And then being an entrepreneur, you have to manage investors, your team, marketing, HR, finance, and maybe sometimes you lose focus on you as an inventor, what you should focus on your product itself. How do you balance this personally? I mean, that's also could be a good learning for myself.
That's a great question, and it's important to realize that to become a successful inventor and a successful entrepreneur, you need a team. Okay, so this has not been only me; it has been Ruben Bonet, my co-founder at Fractus, who took care of more of the business part of this. Then my colleagues, Dr. Jaume Anguera, Dr. Carmen Borja, nowadays Dr. Aurora Andújar, my fellow researchers that help a lot in creating a team that has been behind this technology today and the technology the virtual antenna technology that is coming now.
Nice. I don't know if there is more question popping up. It's something we are in the meantime waiting. And if you look in the meantime, and we think about this, if you look about, let's say, this mix between what we were saying before somehow, an entrepreneur and looking at young people and definitely, doing campaign and how they can be inspired. Do you see in the young people that maybe you're hiring or you're meeting around, do you see the qualities to still, be able to do the inventor and then eventually the jump over into startuppers, if we can call it like that? And if yes, in which things you see that, build on the positive, they say, which are the assets you see somehow in young people today they should focus, that will make them, then grow.
I think that in general, there is more self-confidence in the young people today. They are more aware of their uniqueness as individuals, and that's good, because the worst that you can do when being an inventor is thinking that others will be doing better than you, and that you are nobody to create something great. All this is nonsense, and young people today has this spirit. They really have a different mindset in many aspects. I have kids, and I can see that they have evolved. They're like a new generation of human beings. Okay, so that will create a lot of opportunities. And as I said, now they have more technology tools, a more sophisticated business environment where many things can be done in many fields. Artificial intelligence is one of them. Pharmaceutics. Well, there are so many areas that for sure will create opportunities for new inventions and new businesses.
Thanks. I've been told that there is another couple of questions coming. So if again, voila, from YouTube, this is easier name to read. That's Marilena. What would be your advice to young people that want to be inventors? Yeah, that's something you kind of started already saying. So how would you go on this?
Several things. First one, believe in your capabilities. Okay, anyone can be an inventor. Never think that just because it's you in a school somewhere in the world that is not in the center of the world, whatever that means, you cannot be doing something great. Anyone can have a great idea. Okay, and there is always someone that thinks an idea first, and there are many ideas to come. Okay, so first one, believe in your capabilities and believe that you can do it. Second, socialize your ideas. Get partners. Don't do it alone. Okay, you will need people. You will need a team. You will need other entrepreneurs. You need other scientists. You need other engineers. Okay, so make sure that you create a good team and that will be working together for creating that revolution. Okay. Third, learn how to file good patents. Okay, learn how to write good patents and file them. Okay, because patents are key for any technology business, and they're becoming more important than ever. Okay. Fourth, always keep inventing. Okay, if you have done it once, that means that you can do it twice or many other times. Okay. Some people have creative minds, some other people have less creative minds. Those who have creative minds have this instinct for researching and creating new things. So keep inventing, okay, and try to find an environment or create an environment like a company where you can keep inventing. And the example of a virtual antenna, fourth generation of antennas that comes after fractal antennas, it's an example, okay. And fifth, advice: never take the invention process as personal. Okay, success can be measured in many different ways, and it's quite typical for inventors to become very emotionally attached to your invention. That's bad. Okay, and you need to remember that fighting for your invention is good. But any person, any human being is more important than an invention. So keep calm, work hard, be patient, and that's it.
Nice, thank you. I mean, for the one of you who live in Brussels, we have billboards all around town to promote this campaign and to launch this campaign today. I think the next series of billboards should be your 5 rules on for young people how to become inventors, especially like the last one, when you say don't take success too personal as well. That I think the history is plenty of not just inventors, but poets, philosophers, and entrepreneurs who created amazing things and they became famous after. I mean, if you think about Van Gogh, but plenty of. So it's really, and that's even more important, because once you leave a legacy forever, that's definitely more important than just make sure that maybe you have a short success on social media for a couple of years. But
and recognition sometimes depends on many things that do not depend on you, and there are many factors. So you should feel proud of what you have done, and regardless of how things go for you personally in that regard. Okay, it's difficult sometimes. We had tough experiences in our case. We had to litigate to defend our patents, and that was not sometimes. It's not a nice experience. Okay. But if you take not personally, but if you take it like something that it's business and you need to do to be fair with your company, your shareholders, and then it's something that you do it, and if it goes well, and if it doesn't go well, I mean, you have created something anyway. Okay.
Yeah. I hear there are 3 more questions. We have 3 minutes and a half. For one of you who are looking at that watch up there, it doesn't work. So that we actually have still 3-4 minutes to go. Rosario on Facebook, he thanked us for organizing this. And then when you say in your opinion, I believe, Carles, in your opinion. So I'm definitely passing over the question to you. If you are sufficiently helping the growth of young inventors, what should be the path ahead? What do you expect from the EU as a legislator? And I like that he mentioned the word growth, because at the end of the day, that were really what we should help trying in promote. But please go ahead, Carles. What do you think the legislator should?
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, that's the responsibility of politicians, right? To create the right ecosystem or environment where things can flourish. Okay, and then the inventors and the entrepreneurs will do the rest. Okay, but that ground needs to be created. I think that I was mentioning before. There is a lot of room for improvement in the IPR system, for instance, in our patent system, which is still fragmented across Europe. We still do not have a unitary patent that would help a European inventor to enforce his patent all over Europe, and that's diminishing the competitivity of European startups and European companies clearly. Okay, and in our case, we had to go and fight in the United States for our rights, when it would have been more natural to do it in Europe. Okay, and there is a lot to be improved in the IPR system in Europe, and the Chinese patent system is taking over, something that wasn't unthinkable several years ago, and that's one example of the things that I know well that could be improved. There should be other things, of course, but just to point one, I think the IP, the patent system, is something key that needs to be clearly improved.
Nice. Do we have another one again from Facebook? What are the main challenges for inventors in 2020?
Well, the challenges, I mean, inventors see opportunities more than challenges. Okay, so that it's always difficult to make an invention successful, and it's important to remember that just the idea itself is not enough. You need to turn that idea into something practical and into something commercially available, so it has an impact into the industry. And all that chain needs to be completely done well. Okay, and that sometimes is not easy. And you need more than an invention. You need partners. You need a team. You need investors. You need a company behind. But that can be done as well. It's not rocket science. Okay, it's something that can be. It's done. There are funds available for supporting inventors, there are entrepreneurs out there that can help technical people to start a company, like it was my case. So don't get close into your wall and into your idea, but open it up, file patents so you can be safe, that you can share ideas with anyone else, and be willing to learn and to live the experience.
Yeah, great. Well, we try to be punctual and sharp. And first of all, Carles, I thank you so much for this. We do see that there is a growing amount of questions coming, but unfortunately we don't have the time. We will make sure to forward them to you so that, in case you can come up with the answer for people who are interested in. I will take this last minute to promote a bit what we are doing, in the sense that we are trying to launch, we have launched officially this campaign, and we thanks a lot the people at Ericsson for supporting us and to partner with us in this idea, because it's really something dear to us. And we have done plenty of projects. I think the people who follow Think Young, when it comes to entrepreneurship, startup innovation, and we've all heartily felt that we were missing the beginning of a pipeline, which is the one of Inventors. And we are so happy that there is such a good response already on day one, on the first morning, from a group of inventors like you that agreed to participate in this series of talk that we are organizing in the coming weeks. The next week, on the 8th of October, we are going to have a Q&A and a live conversation with two key people and two actors in invention and in Inventors, and some actually linked to the question that came to you, but also the answer that you gave. We're going to have Commissioner Maria Gabriel, and we're going to have Usa Thompson, which is Senior Vice President at Ericsson. And this is going to be a nice 30-minute live conversation about it. And then every week we're going to have this kind of conversation. You're going to see on our social media plenty of activities. There is a website called hiddeninventors.eu, which is also .org, and you can there see a nice booklet that we're publishing with a story of Carles and plenty of other hidden inventors in Europe that should definitely deserve more visibility. And we're very happy for the results we're already having, and for the support we're having again from you guys as inventors, and the one who all agreed to be in this booklet, from Ericsson as a partner, and from a variety of other partners who are supporting us in this. So that's great, and I can't wait to see what's next in this month. We go on all month of October. So again, thank you very much, Carles. It's been a pleasure to have you, and a good, well, I would say see you soon online with you and everyone else in this conversation, because there are plenty of nice activities prepared. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for inviting me. My pleasure.
Thank you, guys.